Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your September 2019 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And just to let you guys know, I actually won't be offering personal readings for a bit. I'll probably resume them by the time I post the October videos. So when I do post those videos, I'll keep you guys posted if I'm going to be starting them up again at that time. And also regarding the love readings, those probably won't be posted until Labor Day weekend. Alright, so with that out of the way, we'll get focused on your main spread. We have a Celtic cross spread as always, and you guys got quite a few extra cards that came up. In the position of the main situation, we have the Two of Swords and the Two of Cups. So, to me, really this primarily came up one way. But first, let me just point out that this is actually a Libra energy, represents the first 10 degrees of Libra. And this is actually a Cancer card, represents the first 10 degrees of Cancer. So really what I'm seeing there is I feel like some of you actually starting to grow interested in someone at a romantic level, but you're pretty much trying to talk yourself out of it. That's really the vibe that I'm getting, because with these two cards together, the Two of Swords energy is first of all an energy of, trying to make a decision, but what I always say with the water in the background and the moon, to me that represents turning their back on their emotions. If we look at the water and moon as indicators of emotions, and really just trying to make a decision strictly based on logic. And it can, as far as part of your reasoning at least, why that could be the case is this could be a friend of yours, because Libra for you guys represents your 11th house, and Cancer represents your 8th house. So, this can just be a friend that you have pretty, if nothing else, you at the very least have a sexual interest in. And maybe, you're just a little bit worried because you're like, well, I'm really starting to grow feelings for this person. Or this may even be a situation where you guys might have gotten involved in a friends with benefits type of situation. And now you're actually finding yourself with feelings where you weren't necessarily expecting it to go that route in the beginning. The reason why I say that could definitely be the case as well is in the challenge or obstacle position, we have the Ace of Wands, which is definitely, this could point to an energy of sexual initiation. And then since it is the Ace as well, for some of you it may not have happened, but it may at least very much have been heavily on your mind lately. And, you could just be feeling like, deep down, maybe even you or the other person has almost posed it as a friends with benefits dynamic, and either you or the other person may be reluctant to go there because one of you at least knows already that there's feelings underneath the surface, and you might be like, all right, that's a terrible idea because I already know what's going to happen, right, if we go that route. So that could be another way it's playing out. And this could just be saying that, you might be a little hesitant to initiate something in general, even if this is completely unrelated to those dynamics that I was talking about. It can also tie into other areas of life, but that's really what jumped out at me first. So, this could just be saying that you're trying to put a lot of thought into a decision, trying to keep emotion out of it as far as trying to take action in a new area. In the foundation position, we have the Magician card. So I think Leo actually had this in the same position as well. So if you guys have a prominent Leo placement, or if you're dealing with the Leo, you might want to watch that video as well. But to me, this is just saying that you have some pretty solid manifestation energy going your way right now, and that can be due to the fact that your ruling planet of Jupiter has now gone direct again. I'm recording this on the 21st of August, so it went direct 10 days ago. And, it'll continue to pick up momentum as we go along until it moves into Capricorn later this year. So that could be what it's about as well. It could just have, good manifestation energy. And it could also be saying that, if there is some anxiety around you making a decision, just keep in mind that, you can make it happen. And then we also have the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck, which is this represents Jupiter as well. So this is another indicator of that energy. So in a way, these cards almost make it look like you're not in your element, but if you want to get back there, it looks like you would be able to. In the past position, we have the Strength card. and we have the Hermit card. So to me, this is almost a replay of those energies that we see in the present, with the, Two of Swords energy and then the Two of Cups and Ace of Wands blend, because in a way, I almost view this as, some decks even flat out refer to this card as the Lust card. So, that'll give you an idea there. So that's what I was saying as far as, there might be the sexual attraction you have for someone, and you might be trying to intellectualize it, trying to really think it through from every angle. Like, should I make a move? Should I not make a move? And this could point to the timelines as well, saying that this feeling might have arose for you initially during the time of Leo, and now especially for those of you who actually see this in September. This could just be saying you spend at least the first initial part of Virgo season really trying to think it over. Like, should I act on this feeling that I have, or should I just leave it alone? So that could be the two energies at play there. And it can also be, especially since I mentioned that Leo had this aspect as well, could be a Leo that you're dealing with that may also have Virgo placements. So in the present position, we have the Five of Cups. So at least for some of you, this could represent why you're feeling this way. You can, maybe for some of you, you actually might have just gotten out of a connection recently, or at least you're just not over a previous connection, and maybe that's why you're a little bit gun shy to go that route. This is actually a card of Scorpio as well, so this can just say that, you might just be really stuck in your head about the whole situation, especially because there's going to be a full moon in the sign of Pisces, and it's going to be pretty close to Neptune in Pisces, and then they're going to pretty much be squaring Jupiter in your sign as well. So that could be what's at play there. It might have you in a bit of a fog and trying to figure out which way to go regarding the connection. And for some of you, this could even be, deep down. Actually, I think Gemini had a similar vibe at one point in their reading too, where deep down you know that this connection is going to happen, but you're almost looking at that loss of freedom, right? Because if we look at the Three of Cups energy, which he's looking right at those three cups, Three of Cups is like that celebratory vibe with friends, being out and about and partying, right? So maybe you're like realizing that it's almost inevitable, like the pull of the connection might be pretty intense for you guys, and you're like almost looking at it like, oh, I have to give up this independence that I've, held on to so dearly for so long. So that could be the dynamic that's at play for at least some of you as well. Trying to think if anything else comes to mind with that, but no, I'd say it's pretty much it. In the near future position, we have the Four of Cups and the Page of Wands. So yeah, I hate to say it, but the first thing that comes to my mind is almost like, you're still trying to fight off the connection, right? And the person may be persisting with you. So maybe it's actually the other person that's the aggressor here. And you feel the connection, but you're trying to fight it off. So with that Page of Wands energy, that almost gives me that thought of like you fleeing, basically, like, okay, like, you know what? It's, I'm feeling these feelings. I don't want to feel these feelings. Let me just travel, let me just go somewhere and take a vacation or something like that to kind of separate yourself from the connection. And I don't mean to make light of it if it is that there is something from your past that you haven't healed from, but it's almost funny because it's like those are some of the stereotypical things that people say with Sagittarius, but it's almost like actually playing out this way in the spread, But for others of you, it could be that this is someone that's at a distance, and maybe that's why there's a struggle for you to get the connection off the ground. Maybe that's how you're looking at it. Like, well, we really have these feelings, especially you guys. You might have traveled somewhere, met someone, really hit it off with them, and maybe you guys are still talking, maybe online or whatever the case may be, but you really feel that connection, but you're like, well, what's the point? I live halfway across the world from them or something like that. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Four of Swords, So this is another indicator that you may actually be healing from something. So again, like I said, I don't mean to make light of it. If you did get out of a connection recently, and that's why you're reluctant to get into this one now, it could be one of those things where you broke up with someone and maybe a friend was there for you, right? And then you actually started to get feelings for them during that process. And maybe now you're trying to think about it like, okay, realistically, am I just feeling this draw to them because I just got out of a connection and maybe, that's clouding things, or is this something that could really happen? So, you may really, really just be trying to give it a lot of thought to make sure you do it right, as opposed to jumping into something and maybe ruining the connection. That could be the way that's playing out as well. For others of you, it's good to say that you're really going to think this over and try to put it off until towards the end of the Libra time, which would be mid-October, since that's a card that points to those degrees of Libra. So that could even be the way it's playing out for at least a handful of you. In the position of the environment, we have the Queen of Wands and we have the Nine of Swords. So this could play out a couple ways. It could actually be you who's in this energy, because technically this is an Aries card normally, but can represent any fire sign since it is the Wands element. So this can just say that, especially if you are dealing with another fire sign, they might be trying to play it cool, like, oh, they don't mind that you're taking this time to think about it, right? And that, things are up in the air. But underneath the surface, they're really freaking out. Like, okay, what's going on? Are they gonna, are we gonna do this? Are we not gonna do this? And obviously, since, like I said, it can represent you, this may be the energy that you're in right now. You might be trying to play it cool on the surface, like, oh yeah, just ho hum, especially with that Page of Wands energy, right? Like business as usual for me, but then underneath the surface, you're like really freaking out over this, like, really weighing it out and trying to figure out what move you want to do. As far as, do you want to pursue the connection or kind of, push it away? So that's what I'm seeing there. And sorry, this like became basically essentially a love reading, but that's really all I'm seeing playing out here for the most part. And not to mention this being an Aries card too, that's fifth house, which can relate to romance as well. So in the hopes or fears position, we have the Queen of Cups. So this energy to me, again, this is actually a Cancer card, so that's eighth house again. So again, there's maybe that vacillation, like, all right, I'm really into this person, whether you've already had sex with them or not, where that could be on your mind, but you're trying to like hold it back, because with the Queen of Cups, that's the only cup card that the cup is closed off. And that could just be saying you as well, trying to close yourself off emotionally in general. You're hoping to do that, for whatever reason. Like I said, maybe it's because you haven't healed from a previous connection, or maybe you're just afraid of wrecking the friendship if it is someone you've been friends with for a long time, right? That could be another way it's playing out as well. And just really wanting more time to think it over too. And then in the outcome position, we have the Knight of Wands, which is your court card, the Seven of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. So the first thing that jumps out to my mind here is that, like I said, and again, I'm not trying to play up the Sagittarius stereotypes, but given that this is your card, this might be you just basically trying to run away from the connection and distract yourself with other things, whether it's, oh, I'm going to go travel somewhere, or, oh, I'm going to throw myself into my work, right? Because there's definitely a lot of energy in your 10th house this month as well. Your 10th house is Virgo. There's going to be all kinds of placements going on there. The Seven of Wands, is like trying to defend your stance as well, saying, hey, like if the person, for example, were to be the aggressor in the situation, which, like I said, for some of you that may be the case, and you might be trying to fight them off and really just trying to hold on to your single status, since this is actually a card of represents more or less a single lady type aspect. And then this is actually a card that represents the middle 10 degrees of Virgo too. So if this is just another indicator of a timeline, this could just be saying that right as September opens, you could be in that energy. So for some of you, you may end up warming up to the idea, like I said, especially maybe you might around the time of October, you might feel like you're ready to move forward a little bit. But maybe this is just the energy you're in as September starts, where you're really trying to hold on to that single status. And like I said, maybe you are, maybe because of all the energy in your 10th house, you would rather focus on your career for now. And maybe you're even telling them that, like, look, I just have a lot of other things going on right now. I need some time to think about it. And like I said, maybe they're in that mode where, maybe they're pushing a little bit more for an answer and they're just not ready yet. But yeah, like I said, apologies if like this just really spoke to me as more of a love reading than anything. So for those of you who are looking for other areas of life, my apologies there. But I mean, like we said, you do have Jupiter moving forward in your sign again, so a lot of areas of your life should be moving forward anyway. And then, like I said, with all that 10th house stuff too, if this is around career, you should see some progress there as well. We'll see if the Oracle cards give you guys some additional insight. First one we have is Poised. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 48. All right, it says being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. The Oracle's message: you can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to. Your skills are sharp. You've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. Well, I mean, if nothing else, for those of you who are on the fence about, are you ready or not to get into a relationship? That seemed to sound like you would be, but we'll see what the actual relationship message says. It says, when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. All right. And you know what? It could even be too, around the middle of September, a lot of those placements are going to start moving into the sign of Libra. So that could even be, if that feeling hasn't already been sparked in you, it might actually be around mid-month where you start to feel that way. The prosperity message says you have every reason to feel confident. Everything you need to make your success concrete is now at your disposal. You can take action knowing you are ready to step into your power, into your light, and into your service to the world. The direction you're moving in is your destiny. Your soul is smiling with joy as you align with this truth. So that's a pretty supportive message there too, and that could be pointing to what I was saying as far as we have the Magician, we have the Wheel of Fortune. We also do see the Knight of Wands in the outcome, which is your card. So maybe, that's just saying that as your ruler goes direct and picks up more momentum, maybe by the end of the month, you're feeling more like yourself. All right. Next card we have from the Spirit Animal Oracle is Chameleon Spirit. It says act as if. There's the artwork. And the number there is 14. Interesting too, because the major arcana card for your sign is Temperance, and that's a number 14 also. So maybe there's some significance with that. All right, it says Chameleon Spirit shares her gift with you today to prepare you for changes that will greatly benefit you. Outer conditions are changing, and you're required to come into harmony with them so you can co-create your greatest dream. Feeling sensitive? Good, because that will come in handy, enabling you to determine how best to adapt to your environment and the people in it, while at the same time maintaining your integrity and inner equilibrium. Even if you feel like you're in uncharted territory, Chameleon Spirit has complete faith in your ability to fit in and learn the lay of the land, adapting as necessary. This is a fortunate time to act as if and do as others do until the new ways feel familiar and completely natural. Life is offering you a great lesson now. Adapting isn't about losing yourself, it's about learning how to dance with others. So, definitely an interesting message there. That definitely sounds like it could support the relationship dynamic we were talking about. And maybe even just any partnership. Maybe if this is just a new start you have in career or something along those lines, too. Maybe a creative partnership that you've entered into recently. Could even be talking about that. And then the other card you guys got from that deck is Eagle Spirit. It says Spirit has your back. There's the artwork for it. The number is 23. So, sounds pretty supportive there, too. Let's see what that has to say. Okay, it says, think of the eagles flying high above the other birds, soaring on the wind. Eagle Spirit has appeared to ask whether you're willing to soar to new heights, even if that means solitude for a short while. Truly, all the wisdom of the world is available to you. When storms flash across the sky, it is Eagle Spirit that raises you above it all, helping you conquer fear and overcome adversity, reminding you that Spirit has your back and wants you to experience life at its fullest. At this moment, you are meant to know that you have the highest of wisdom and courage within, gifted to you by Spirit and all the angels. Boldly build your nest in a lofty space, and know that now you can fly effortlessly, proudly embodying Eagle Spirit in all her glory and grace, claiming what is truly yours in divine timing. So, definitely a pretty good message there. And like I said, with the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck and the Magician in the Foundation, pretty solid cards there to have for any area of your life. So, like I said, for those of you who were looking for something other than just relationship stuff, hopefully those Oracle cards help you out. Okay, and then the last thing we have is a Mudra card for you. The Mudra you guys have is this one here. It's the Vajra Mudra. And the keyword for it is indestructibility. Turn the card over so you guys can see the additional info on it. There we go. So if you wanted to take a screenshot of it or, just pause it to read what it has to say, you can. It says aligns and opens the central channel, the Sushumna Nadi, directs energy upward to the higher centers in the body, improves concentration, and strengthens willpower. So if that sounds like something you think would benefit you guys, I'll also leave the name of that mudra in the description of the video if you wanted to look into it a bit more. We'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.